Planet Dolan.
From speaking faux Japanese to chewing on sock threads, the Planet Dolan crew reenacts some of the best true stories from our subreddit about the weirdest things we do when nervous. I'm Melissa, and today, I'll be your narrator. Number 10 was submitted by MysticTulip. Whenever she's a nervous wreck, Pandora will normally do simple things like chew her fingernails until they bleed, stutter as though she did something bad, or refuse to eat. One thing that everyone notices except for Pandora is that she will scratch her head and, when she has something under her fingernail like dandruff, will eat it. She didn't realize she did that until one of the kids that would usually come over began to copy her. The kid would do it just to tease her, so now she tries not to do it as often. Sometimes when she does it, Pandora makes sure that no one sees her. Number 9 was submitted by TrueChikara. When Mimi gets nervous, she will usually say random words in Japanese and eat her hair. Unfortunately, it happened one time when she was in Japan. She was waiting in a crowded store to buy some things when a man approached her. He asked her where the closest train station was, and Mimi began freaking out because she didn't know Japanese that well. So, she said some random words and took out a piece of her hair and began to munch on it. The man looked at her with a confused and disgusted expression. He thanked her for her help, making Mimi's nervousness worse. Number 8 was submitted by Pitbull987. Dolan scratches himself whenever he gets nervous. If he gets very nervous, he'll go down on the floor and start scratching and screaming his butt off. One time, during a spelling bee, Dolan was so nervous that he got down on the floor and scratched himself while screaming very loudly. He screamed so much that they had to stop the spelling bee and tell him to go to the bathroom to calm down. The bathroom floor had mold growing on it, so it didn't help. Instead, they told him to leave. Dolan never went to a spelling bee again. Number 7 was submitted by Abigail Dolls 333. The weirdest thing Doopy does when she's nervous is play with her belly button. She pulls at it until it's almost out of its socket. She usually does it when she's studying for a test that scares her, or if she feels nauseous. Doopy tries not to do it in public, though sometimes she caught herself doing it at school. Her mom has yelled at her for doing it, and even tried to scare her by saying that she might get cancer in her belly button. The warning never worked, and Doopy continues to do it because it feels very fucking satisfying. Number 6 was submitted by Clayton DeFox. Back when Derek was in 4th grade, he had a weird thing he did whenever he was nervous or just really focused on something. He would pull off threads from his wool socks, put them in his mouth, and chew them until the end of class when he would spit them out in a wastebasket. The problem began to escalate halfway through the 4th grade when he began to swallow the threads. It gave him constipation issues and left huge holes in most of the socks. His mom and dad didn't notice the problem until about 9 months later. They asked him why he was getting so many pairs of socks ripped. He told them about it, and they made him buy 24 pairs of socks to replace the ones he ate. That ended Derek's sock chewing, and his chewed up socks were passed down to his little brother. Number 5 was submitted by Mozococo. When Andy gets nervous, she bites off the skin around her nails. Not just her fingernails, but also her toenails. One day, she had to give an oral report in front of her class, which she was very freaked out about. Andy asked to go to the bathroom before giving a report, and the teacher said she could. So Andy walked down the hall in her new flowery sandals and ran into the bathroom. She ignored the fact that there were 2 other girls in there and quickly started to bite off the skin around her fingernails. Then Andy took off her sandals and started biting off the skin around her toenails. She looked up and saw the other 2 girls giving her horrified looks. That was when Andy bit down on her toe a little too hard, making it bleed. Mortified, she walked back to class and asked for a band-aid. The 2 girls from the bathroom knew Andy and told everyone what they saw her doing. Number 4 was submitted by MyEmptyBagOfChips. The weirdest thing Nixium does when he's nervous is say,
"Screw human emotions."
One time, he was giving a presentation that was very important, and the auditorium he was in was great at amplifying sound from the front to the back. He was very nervous because it was the second biggest crowd he'd ever presented to, about 150 people that ranged from babies to grandparents. When it came to his turn at the microphone, the auditorium began to quiet down. He suddenly said,
"Screw human emotions, they suck anyway."
Then he walked awkwardly to the center of the stage and tried to open with something funny. So he said,
"Greetings, mortals. I shall bestow knowledge upon your brains, so be amazed at what I have to tell you."
Everyone was still stunned by what Nixium had said before, which had basically ruined his presentation. Number 3 was submitted by Unlawful Spoon 65. When MKLM gets nervous, he always makes raccoon noises. One time, he was using a public restroom when a man asked him for some toilet paper. Nervous, MKLM immediately made a huge raccoon noise. The man yelled for someone to get rid of the raccoon in the stall next to him. When they broke the door down to look for a raccoon, instead they saw MKLM sitting on the toilet. He made more raccoon noises, which made them leave. Number 2 was submitted by Crystal Clear 3. Gurgak pulls at his eyebrows whenever he gets nervous. He has an unbelievably thick unibrow that is at least 1.5 inches thick. Waxing, threading, and tweezing are only painful temporary fixes that are also expensive, and they are overgrown most of the time. Whenever someone makes him feel uneasy, Gurgak's first instinct is to pull out his eyebrow hair and try to thin them out. For some reason, his subconscious mind thinks that if he can tame his eyebrows, then he can get out of any situation. Number 1, the weirdest thing that I do when I'm nervous. By far, the weirdest thing that I do when I'm nervous is play with my boyfriend's used contacts. That's right. It calms me down. They're really squishy, and sometimes I stick them on my phone screen to preserve them so that they retain their texture and don't dry out from the moisture in the air. It's perfectly logical. And I've only been doing this for about 11 years. So I think it's a habit that's here to stay. Huge thanks for all the folks over on our Planet Dolan subreddit for submitting their stories. We have another question for you. What's the weirdest rules your parents have? Let us know in the Reddit page linked below, and you might be featured in a future countdown.
This video was made possible by our fans over on Patreon. Thanks for your support, guys.
Catch you guys next time.